Hello, ladies and gentlemen in this house today. Honorable judges. Today, we think that there's a problem in the status quo, which is that some group of people, which is mostly minority, is being segregated from the society, and they are undermine their right, and also the society as a whole is in an unjust state, and the government want to solve this problem by taking this motion. We think that this motion is a unique way to solve this problem. I want to first define the main points in this motion. The country is all liberal democratic country, and the ethnicity we're talking about is stuff like religion or like kind of tribe, like island, or like Japanese or Chinese or stuff like that. And we think that these things are uniquely leading to discrimination under the status quo when it's broadcasted. And also, we allow the media to broadcast age or gender of the criminal, and also we will actively force media to not reveal those kind of ethnicity in their article or in their the comments made in the television. So definition is finished, and first I'm going to talk about the status quo's problem and why we need to take this motion and tackle to this problem. Under the status quo, there's when the black or Jewish people or those minority people do crime, these kind of things are revealed on the television or on the newspaper. And this kind of things happen, the people who are not in that minority group will look at that group, see that information and think that all of the people in that group will act in the same way, and prejudice will arise among them. And we think that I'm going to talk in a more detailed way. This discrimination is something like assumption. Since I watched news that the black people in the neighborhood lashed into other people's house and taken away something of the owner's property, I have a prejudice that many black people have a tendency of doing this kind of crime or something like that, and this kind of assumption will lead to prejudice. And even more, since it's broadcasted through media, this kind of prejudice will be shared among society. That's because this news media is very influential in many ways.
So,
sure.
do you seriously believe that even moderate people who suddenly have discrimination by these kind of criminals?
We think that taking this motion, the number of people who will be discriminated will decrease. And okay, so moving on to my description of status quo. Well, this labeling will occur after this prejudice is shared among society, and so collective number of people will think that discrimination is legitimate, and therefore there will be a social consensus. Sorry, that this assumption will be a social consensus, and we think that this kind of unequality situation will lead to promoting inequality and conflict among different races. That's for example, speaking of a situation in the school, the black people, when speaking of the situation in the United States and in the school, black people and white people are in many cases living in different area, that's because the white people, we have an assumption that black people and their family are somewhat in a poor condition, and many group of the black people do crime or something like that. So the white people have bad image against the black people, and so white people haven't don't want to be integrated into that situation. Sorry. So having said that, why is it important? Well, first of all, from the point of view of those people who are being discriminated, well, first of all, they feel a lot of mental harm, which is that they cannot join into the other part of the society. Like the black people cannot join in the white people's community because they are being discriminated, and there's a lot of high barrier existing among these two races. And second, there's a social unjust existing, and if social unjust, which is that there's no equality among two races, and some race is being segregated. So the vicious circle will continue. That is that's because the government leave out this unequal situation, and the social consensus remains. So there will be a more tendency toward segregating the minority more. So so the situation will get worse and worse, and the minorities' benefit or the right will be undermined more and more. We think that for that reason this is very problematic, and conflict among race will grow because, and we think that because of this conflict there will be no unity among the country, and that's really problematic because each member of the ethnic is at the same time the member of the same country. So if there's no unity, there will be a conflict, and the country's sustainability will be undermined for that reason. So with these three reasons, we think that the status quo problem is really in the harmful situation, and therefore we think that this motion is important to solve this problem. Thank you.
I thank the Prime Minister. Next I call upon the Leader of Opposition.
Thank you. As long as the information are beneficial for social security, we have to reveal the information and provide the information with every single citizen, because it is strongly linked to preemptive protection of the citizen's life itself. So we are proud to propose our model. I want to talk about two things in my speech. Firstly, the principle of information revealing, and secondly, why by even after production the problem is not solved, and why the recognition of the people will just decrease, and why that's bad. This is the point. But before that, some response to that side. Firstly, they say that the bad image is existing, and then after production it will erase, and the unity will generate it. But they somehow believe that why the bad image will erase, but we don't think so, because they never explain why we think that only this plan, why the bad image can completely erase. We don't think so. No, thank you. This is the burden of proof of the government. So we think that as long as they don't explain this point, they can never contribute to this debate. And also they somehow say that the existence of the discrimination, but it's not so problematic, we think. So thinking about the real is who thinks that because they are blacks, they are criminal, they are bad guys, they are such a silly people. If we have some kind of education, if we have some kind of rationality in the life, we don't think so, because we are, because the such statement is just silly, and only the crazy people just believe so. And we think the problem is not so huge. No, thank you. Then, this is our response to our point, first point. point, what we have to protect is social security in the first place. And because it is strongly linked to the basis of life of the citizens, right? So to protect this point, the information is so important, we think. Because of the information, the people can recognize how the crime is, the full committed crime, and how police can control this crime, right? So on this point, and so this information, who and how the crime can happen is crucially important because without information, people cannot know what the crime is and how the crime is and how bad it is and how they can protect themselves from the danger of the crime. No, thank you. And thinking about this case, thinking about such case, because the information is strongly linked to the protection of themselves, the information is beneficial, and because of the information they can protect themselves. The government, the information is contributing to social security, we think. And thinking about the root cause of the problem, the root cause is a social structure, right? So because the specific ethnicity is committing to crimes, so if discrimination can happen, this is the root cause of the problem, right? Or the root cause of the crime happening itself, right? So we think that to erase the root cause, that we have to get the information in the first place. So this is our second point. Then, but before that, yes, closing.
We can know the root cause of the problem without the information of ethnicity, like the example of poverty. Moreover, we can more likely to direct the problem of poverty after the cause. Don't you think so?
I don't think so, because they define any kind of the information is limited, right? The gender or something, and of course, as I said, ethnicity itself can be the problem. I mean, the social structure itself. So I cannot understand what you said. And the second point, because the people, because under status quo, people can get information, as I said, so they can notice and they can consciousness to the problem, right? So we think that, and so because they have information, they can make the movement to the problem, right? For example, to solve the problem of the poverty, to solve the problem of the gender confliction or something. So under status quo, they are the movement to solve it. But after taking this one, what will happen? Because they cannot have information, because the ordinary citizen cannot get information from the news media, the main source of the information of them, because they cannot have the chance to access it. No, thank you. So we think, and it means, because they cannot, it means that, they are deprived of chance to commit the solution to the problem. We think that's bad, because they cannot know, they cannot understand, they cannot notice the problem, the existence of the problem. So we think this is really crucially bad situation, because the root motivation to solve the problem is just suppressed by the government, because the information is not given to the citizen. We think that's bad, because to solve the problem, as I said, the solution is well, thank you. Solution is the attacking the problem of the social structure, right? So to solve the problem, yes.
Because of the existence of news media about this information, black people create self-preconception that I have the tendency to commit crime, and this leads to accelerating the committing crime. Black people, don't you think so?
I probably disagree on that point. Then, because to solve the problem, the attacking that cause is the real solution of this problem. Because after the adoption, we cannot get the chance, and we cannot get the knowledge about the problem. So we think that status quo is better than after taking this problem. Then I explain two things. Why as a government we have to reveal the information. We have to give the information to every single citizen. And secondly, I explained why after adoption is bad. On these 2 points, we are proud to oppose this motion. Thank you.
I thank the leader of opposition. Next I call upon the Deputy Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, as a member of the Liberal Democratic countries, we have been doing everything in order to ban the segregation, in order to ban the discrimination, different members in our country. We even set a quota in order to discourage the discrimination in the university entrance systems. And we said it is okay, and we have done everything in order to ban this kind of segregation and discrimination. And Mr. Speaker, the trend is this. Moreover, we say by taking the proposal, I think we can have a large step in order to erase the mindset of discrimination towards the Black, towards the Hispanic, towards certain kinds of ethnicity, that they have a tendency to commit a crime, or that they are more likely to be the rapists, and etc. etc. We are saying that under the current situation is being the obstacle in order to achieve the equality. Therefore, we have to take the proposal. Maybe this might not be the solution in order to banish all discrimination, but it receives a large step, so we have the justification to take the proposal. So, Mr. Speaker, I would like to tell you two things in my argument today. Firstly, I would like to tell you why, in order to banish the discrimination, we have to uniquely adapt to this news media, and secondly, the practical consequences and how it is beneficial. But before that, rebuttal to the previous speaker on the opening of the show. Well, he came up and said, okay, that specific information, the ethnicity, is so important in order to know about the case, in order to protect yourself. However, Mr. Speaker, even after taking a proposal, we will tell you everything except for the ethnicity. What do we mean by that? When there's a robbery coming into the supermarket, we will tell him what the color of his jacket was. We will tell him what kind of height he was. We will tell him what kind of whether if he was male or female, or whether what kind of age he was. We say this kind of information are enough. You see, this kind of telling this information, the citizen can carefully watch out those kind of dangerous people coming into their houses and so on. If they would like to say why this ethnicity is especially so important to protect themselves, it is their burden of proof to say what is so special about the races in terms of the investigation in order to do so. We say we should actively ban it because the benefit we can gain from telling the information to all the citizens in order to protect themselves, and the harm we might be getting, we actually get for creating the discrimination. We say the harm is huger, so we say we should actively take the proposal. And moreover, Mr. Speaker, we say actually even after taking the proposal, there will be no problem in terms of investigation or maybe in terms of jurisdiction, because those kind of information, the race or maybe some information will be shared inside the police, will be shared inside the jurisdiction system, so there will be no problem in procedure. And especially in terms of the investigation, we still have the alternative. We have DNA, we have surveillance, of which information will be shared only inside the police, so there will be no problem in order to find out the truth, in order to catch the robbery or the rapist, whatever it is. So we see no uniqueness telling this specific information to our citizens. So having refuted, I would like to move on to my analysis. So firstly, I would like to tell you why we have to uniquely adapt to the news media. Mr. Speaker, what is the uniqueness of the news media? Why do we have to uniquely adapt on this criteria? We say because they have so much tendency and so influential, and it has a tendency for the people to believe whatever they say, and they have a tendency to get brainwashed in some cases. So why is that? Because news media is known as a way to obtain certain information. Everyone is watching it. Well, in order to protect themselves, they need the information, and we can easily access to these things through the internet, through the TV, and even those people, everyone is watching it. And moreover, Mr. Speaker, because the media is a profit seeker, they have the incentive to raise the audience rate, and in order to do so, they would like to tell you something very much in detail, and sometimes too exaggerating. For example, even though like there might be this kind of rapist, maybe who is black, but the newspaper will tell you in this way, okay, there's another black rapist this week once again in Oklahoma or whatever it is. So in this kind of phrasing, the media will actually raise the attention of citizens and raise the audience rating. So media has an incentive to exaggerate the things. And moreover, Mr. Speaker, because this is a news media, a little bit of the even if this might be a little bit exaggeration, like people are likely to believe that information without doubt because it is news. It is something that must be true. So why should we doubt on that? So actually, this would easily create a prejudice and easily create a discrimination of which harm like will be created and which was explained by partner clearly. And we say this is actually being the root cause of social unrest, which the opposition side also wanted to solve. So we have to uniquely attack on this criteria. Secondly, I would like to tell you how after taking a vote, this discrimination will be solved. Yes.
Thinking about the exaggeration, if it is too much, we have to ban that because it is kind of brainwash, right? So it is another way of this motion, we think.
Yes, actually, we say that sometimes it is going too far. We are already restricting it. However, we say because it is very hard to draw the line. Whether repeating, okay, there is black rapist, there's a black rapist. We cannot know how much it is exaggeration or not. So we say we should actively ban all of this information because, as I told you, it is not very uniquely beneficial for the investigation, and we see it is just being the root cause in order to create the prejudice and discrimination. So what will happen after taking proposal? Firstly, I told you there is no problem in terms of investigation or the protection because we will deliver them enough other information in order to protect themselves, in order to go for the investigation, and etc. etc. Secondly, how the majority's prejudice or the root cause of discrimination will be cut down or minimized. Maybe how another case problem there is this kind of mindset being made. Every time they turn on the TV, they hear, okay, this is a Hispanic robbery coming into this our state once again and again. And actually, even though they are not trying to discriminate other people, this kind of mindset is being made. However, after taking proposal, this kind of phrase will be born. So there is opportunity for getting brainwashed or creating this mindset that this Hispanic has a tendency to be robbery will be taken away. So actually after taking proposal, what we can do is we can attack on the individual problem, the individual cases. We can see the causes differently. Maybe the cause of the black person to committing the robbery is not because they are black, because maybe they are poor, because they are they have a problem. In this way, we can uniquely see the individual suspect or individual criminal as an individual, without the kind of discrimination or the racial, and we can erase the prejudice, and we can solve all the discrimination problem in our society. So for these reasons, I am very proud to propose.
I'd like to ask the answer. Next, I call upon the deputy opposition.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Speaker, basically, the makeshift clinic is so ephemeral. Even though government want to try to some issue by hiding it, but as long as people have some tendency or some recognition towards the target, and such influences last forever. So what the government want to do is just hiding information which is strongly connected to the root cause of the crime, and by hiding the information of ethnicity, and they innocently believe the discrimination will be banished. But ladies and gentlemen, my partner has already told you, as long as in the status quo the people have some bad image towards African American or the Spanish, this policy would fix such perception of the ordinary citizen towards that kind of ethnicity, and they lose the opportunity to improve their social recognition by taking this proposal. So we are very proud to oppose this motion. And two things to talk about as deputy leader of the opposition. Firstly, and I further explain the idea of the protection of the individual and relationship and towards the information. No, thank you. And second, I can tell you that why this policy is totally counterproductive to protect the African American or the Spanish from the social prejudice. Before that, several responses towards Junjun. The first, before that, yes.
Okay, even after taking a proposal, we will announce when black people get Nobel Prize or become prime minister. We will say they are black. By this information, we can actually fix that kind of discrimination. Well, why don't you think our paradigm is better?
Okay, I'll further explain the why. So by taking this proposal, I'll further explain later. But this policy that will fix the social recognition towards the African American, and because the government recognizes the black people or the Spanish were more likely to commit a crime, so government ban such kind of revealing information, and the Fox News or other kind of news media can use it as a rationale for the racial discrimination, and they have to bear the severe discrimination. So in that sense, we are very proud to oppose. And back to the issue about the response towards the Deputy Prime Minister. Firstly, she said, and we already reviewed as much information as possible, so there's no problem. But ladies and gentlemen, the all analysis comes from Deputy Prime Minister, is a color of jacket or other kind of things. So it is totally changeable, and it is totally changeable. If one person take off their clothes and wear it again, no, thank you. And they can easily disguise the personal information. So, but the like the height or the profile, the color of skin or the ethnicity is totally unchangeable. So that is the key. That is the key for the ordinary citizen to protect themselves by knowing the fact. In that sense, we have to reveal the information for the individual. No, thank you. And Ginger has said the police can detect, but how ordinary citizen can recognize who criminal is. And so in that sense, to maximize the opportunity of self-protection by knowing the information, and the police knowing the fact can never be a reason for the ordinary citizen to get jeopardized. Second, about the news exaggeration. And in that sense, we believe this policy is totally counterproductive because the government officially recognizes the African American or the Spanish is more likely to commit a crime, and they carry a justification for the Fox News or the other kind of exaggerated news media to use the information as an authority of the government to get harsher the discrimination itself. No, thank you. And moreover, and today's government. Okay, on to the third issue about the prejudice of each ethnicity as an ordinary citizen. Because the exaggeration of the news media and the people have some tendency to do that. But ladies and gentlemen, of course, not only the criminal information, but the other kind of the resource can be used as a discrimination factor. Like the case of the presidential election, and Fox News can use the Obama as a way to discriminate the black people, or such kind of, as many ways they have to use. No, thank you. Use the discrimination, and their problem will never be solved in the first place. On to first issue. No, thank you. On to first issue about the relationship between revealing information as a protection of the individual. Leader of opposition said such kind of information is so useful for ordinary citizens to protect themselves by knowing the unchangeable factor, which is totally unique for the individual color of skin or height, and they can maximize the information to protect themselves, and they can. No, thank you. And they can avoid, and they can stay away from such kind of people just for protect themselves, not to discriminate against others. No, thank you. But Deputy Leader of Opposition further explained this policy was specifically specifically revealing the ethnic information is very useful to protect the ethnicity themselves. No, thank you. Because the number of crimes visualizes the severity of the situation. Because they are poor, they're systematically poor, and in case of the New Orleans, the many black people has to be poor because of the social structure or the social economical reason. That's why the many black people will commit a crime. And so the number of crime or the number of the broadcasting will clearly show the severity of their situation. So this makes people recognizing the underlying problem behind the racial criminal or the social economical reason. That's why my partner, as I already told you, such kind of social movement by citizens is happening in the public sphere, and many people will know the fact between, the relationship between crime and the race or the social economical situation, and they can successfully attack such kind of underlying problem behind the race. But after we take this proposal, of course the citizen can never attach to this problem by Deputy Prime Minister told you, because we cannot know the existence of the crime caused by their race. This is a systematic problem, and so their situation will get harder and harder. And I further explain this point on the second issue. What this policy is a counterprop because government officially authorized discrimination of the racial groups. Ladies and gentlemen, the problem of this policy is this policy will fix the perception of the citizen. Under the status quo, the Spanish or the African American will more likely commit a crime. That's why the government banned revealing such information. And it means that the government officially recognized such kind of possibility of the crime caused by their races. And that's why the Fox News or other kind of news media can use it as a rationale for their broadcasting, because government recognizing the more and more black people commit a crime, so we ban the information. So our statement is totally justifiable. And so by taking this proposal, that the racial discrimination will get harsher and harsher. So to save such ethnicity from the harsher discrimination, we are very proud to oppose.
Thanks for the lead of opposition. Moving on to the closing part, I'd like to call upon the member of government.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and hello, ladies and gentlemen in the class. First of all, of course, youth media have a power, have an influence on the people. And in other words, children are very influential. So, if the news media in TV say black people commit a murder again, so in this children watch those TV again. So in this situation, children get assumption that black people are likely to commit a crime. So we must prove this problem. I talk about this point later. Okay, before I explain the argument, let me refute what the previous speaker has said. Mr. Speaker, the opposition side says that every information are needed because race can make many crime. So, but why? We think that race don't involve with crime only because of poverty, disease, and lack of money. Sorry, lack of money, lack of education, lack of moral. So if you say that race is involved with crime, it's only because of black people are poverty. So if you say again race is involved with crime, you do discrimination for the black people. Why should we broadcast race information? So this is our refutation. Okay. Next, I talk about the two arguments. Firstly, no thank you. Firstly, how after taking this graph, how to check the situation that many people discriminate other races. Secondly, after taking this graph, how big the plant impact, how big the plant's impact. Okay. Yes.
For instance, in the United States, the racial structure is strongly connected to socio-economical structure. By separating the relationship between race and economic situation, how can we directly attack the root cause of the crimes committed by their races?
Oh, okay. Because yes, social structure is a problem. Yes, it is a problem. But only because but it's because we discriminate black people. So after taking this one, we can prove this problem. So those structures are proved by this plan. Okay, I talk about my argument one by one. After taking this plan, in the status quo, many news media focus on the ethnicity of crime. Yes, for example, news media broadcast. Oh, today, murder cases are happened by black people. So again. But of course, news media broadcast. It's because of poverty or disease or and so on. But many people have assumption that black people are black or moral. By this news media, many people ensure their assumption. This is problem. This is problem. So after taking this plan, we can change news media. We can change of the broadcasting or form of the news media. So news media don't broadcast the information of ethnicity. Instead of this, the news media emphasize the cause of poverty and disease. So in this situation, many people focus on the real cause to commit a crime. So and the people know the situation, the cause. So we can say that by this graph we can prove discrimination problem. Totally. I talk about second point. Yes, after taking this plan, of course, children watch the news media, which say that the many crime are caused by the poverty. So not racist. So if children watch the news instead of the biased news media, of course children know real situation. That many crimes are caused by poverty. So poverty and children get real causes. So in addition, after they grow up in the future, many adults know the real cause to commit a crime. So after taking this plan, this means we can prevent many discrimination in the future. So we must take this plan. Thank you.
I thank the member of government. Next, I call upon the member of opposition.
Mr. Speaker, ladies and gentlemen, opening opposition
had a good job of pointing out that the root cause of the crime committed right now is solely derived from social structure as it exists in the current paradigm. Broadcasting or publication with the information with the ethnicity would likely to society to tackle the root cause. I will further elaborate on that point with 2 layers of analysis focusing 2 things. Firstly, is the majority of people, the moderate people, affected looking to these kind of media. The second area is about the way in which the current media the current media and broadcasting is published right now. But before and also I would tell you that in terms of criminal investigation, this kind of information is vital in as a broad basis point for supporting this kind to oppose the motion. But before that, 3 rebuttals onto the entire government ban. First thing is the opening opposition. They had told us that exaggerating reporting must be the current paradigm, the exaggeration occurs in the current paradigm. We say, as opening opposition, as I told you in their rebuttal, the exaggerated broadcasting is a problem. We can restrict that. But that is solely because the only information, for example, the person who might see a Chinese has committed a crime, so therefore keep cautious about that. Those kind of information must be conserved in the current paradigm solely because the safety is a fundamental value for the people should recognize about it. So the exaggeration is a problem. We can restrict that, but those kind of simple revelation of the information in relation to ethnicity should be the subject we should preserve at the first place. No, thank you. For example, and also to respond to the closing side, and also right. So despite of these kind of rebuttal. Closing side said that exaggeration occurs, so that the entire case of closing government, first case of closing government, doesn't stand at all in this debate. So secondly, about the effect of children, the harm presented by side closing should stand only insofar that the current media broadcast in relation to crime. In the way that this kind of person have committed crime solely because they are black or something like that. Without right, that is not the case which we see in the current paradigm, ladies and gentlemen. So in the current paradigm, media are already having a broadcasting or publication of these kind of incident in relation to the root cause of the social structure, right? So the media are already broadcasting with the neutral app as much as possible. So that's why they would focus on the economically impoverished circumstances of the harassment, the racial harassment towards black people at the first place, right? The entire assumption of the current media framework is totally false in the first place. No, thank you. So let me move on to the 2 extension from closing opposition. And firstly, it's about the social consciousness to lead a better society in relation to the more united which side prop really wants. Yes, sir.
By knowing unnecessary too much information about ethnicity, don't you think anxiety toward, let's say, black people would increase and that would exacerbate social unrest as a society?
So those kind of information is not an unnecessary thing as it's going to be explained in the second extension. So on to the first extension, it's about to lead to a better society in terms of more unification. As an opening opposition had already told you that the social consciousness attacks the root cause. I will tell you in a practical level in how the opening opposition case would stand in the current paradigm. And so that, as I told you in a point of mission for the opening government, do you seriously believe that even moderate people would dramatically change their mind by saying these kind of neutral media in the current paradigm, right? There's no incentive for the moderate people, the ordinary people, to dramatically change their mindset into anti-black or anti-Jewish, anti-Chinese, something like that. Solely because, rather we say, because the news media also report about the background, as I told you in my refutation, about the economic impoverished circumstances around Chinese people around Japan, black people around America, and also this the racial harassment based on ethnicity and so on. So that's why, and so those kind of things are already broadcasted within the information in relation to the criminal incident, right? So that the social movement exists, and social movement exists solely because the citizens want to rectify those kind of things. Modern people do not want this social order society, right? Modern people want a more ordered society. That's why, precisely in Japan, for example, there is social movement to actually improve the condition, improve the harassment or the treatment towards the immigrant workers or something like those kind of paradigm, right? So that there's no need for the majority of people, the majority of citizens is trying to support and trying to rectify, trying to unite in order to have a well-ordered society in the current paradigm. So that in this paradigm, specifically within the current paradigm, the unification is gradually occurring in the first place. So second of all, whether this information is necessary information or not. In terms of criminal investigation, news media have a role to inform citizens in essential information. Precisely in this case, there's these kind of information in relation to ethnicity, because it is directly related to people's safety, which is a fundamental value that people should deserve, people should have. And the information, the news media should inform the citizens as much as possible. We're not saying, as I told you in the first attempt, the news media is dramatically exaggerated and pro-racial racial discrimination in the current paradigm. We see the media pointing out the root cause of the problem. We see the media trying to be neutral as much as possible solely because people do not prefer to see racial discrimination media at the first place. So in these kind of situations, the news media should have a role to actually inform the information as much as possible in a way which they are not discriminatory about the criminals, the suspects, and because safety is a fundamental value for citizens, I'm very proud to vote.
I thank the member of opposition. Next, I call upon the government whip.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. In the first place, Yonaga contended on this debate. There is a crime caused by race, Mr. Speaker. We think this is a certain kind of hate speech, Mr. Speaker. Because you are black, you commit crime, Mr. Speaker. But Mr. Speaker, this is quite discriminatory stance coming from today's opening opposition. That is why, Mr. Speaker, we ban hate speech to break this preconception that race causes problem. That is why, Mr. Speaker, we have to break this preconception right now. That is why I'm extremely proud to propose. Moreover, in the status quo, rich, powerful, white individual capture the media and prevent a wide range of information from being informed to the public, especially mainly focusing on race, Mr. Speaker. This is consciously accelerating the discrimination that black people are inherently evil, and moreover, especially in conservative areas, news media pick and choose the failure of the black people, Mr. Speaker. And this creates the preconception that black people are evil, and this is going to create the cause of the crime. Like for example, black people are more likely to be discriminated in the opportunity of job hunting. And as a result, black people have no choice but to face the problem of economic difficulty. And as a result, Mr. Speaker, black people have no choice but to commit crime. That is why, Mr. Speaker, in the status quo, certain kinds of media is the cause of the problem, Mr. Speaker. That's why, Mr. Speaker, we should take this proposal. Two issues to summarize this debate. First, I'm going to talk about the necessity of banning news media from publishing the ethnicity. Second, I'm going to talk about the effect of the banning broadcasting of ethnicity. But before that, few clarification. Mr. Speaker, the burden of proof today's proposition side is to decrease the discrimination, Mr. Speaker, not to eradicate discrimination, right, Mr. Speaker? Today's opening up misunderstand the burden of proof today's entire government bench. That's why in the first place, this is a certain kind of clarification, Mr. Speaker. No. The idea first coming from the opening up is that ethnicity information is absolutely necessary to tackle the problem of social structure. I have two responses for that.
First response we have, this is not true because in the status quo, news media plays crucial role to create this social structure, Mr. Speaker. What do I mean by that? Because, Mr. Speaker, media are certain kinds of code of the social structure in the status quo. The best example of that is a certain kind of children, what my partner brought you from the start with the speech. Children can easily construct the preconception that black people are evil in the status quo because of the nature of the media in the country of framework. That's why news media create the social structure in the status. That's why, Mr. Speaker, to decrease this preconception, we should take this proposal in the first place. Second response we have, the premise of opposition side, viewers of the TV think that poverty causes a problem in comparison with ethnicity. However, this is not true because in conservative area, Mr. Speaker, people have the tendency to mainly focus on the ethnicity, like the example of in the past of KKK and so forth. That is why, Mr. Speaker, in the current legal framework, more and more people are more likely to have the antipathy toward the black people, and more and more people are more likely to discriminate, precisely because, Mr. Speaker, this is information can be the justifiable reason to discrimination. Why? Because you are evil, because you have the tendency to commit crime. I have the reason to discriminate you, Mr. Speaker. That is the, Mr. Speaker, in the current legal framework, this leads to the legislature to regulate the freedom of movement of black people. Moreover, this leads to the discrimination of the black people in the job hunting places. That's why, Mr. Speaker, we should take this proposal here. Second idea coming from the opening up is the social closing up. Unfortunately, closing up is the repetition of the opening up in the first place. And second idea coming from the opposition side, the social movement can be raised in the status quo. I have three responses for that. First response we have is that this is not true. Why? Because in conservative areas, white people have the preconception that black people are evil, and then because of the existence of this media, they are more likely to strengthen this preconception. What do I mean by that? Mr. Speaker, news of ethnicity gives the excuses to justify the discrimination of minority, as I mentioned earlier. Because you are inherently evil, I should discriminate you. In the first place, that is why this is not always true. Second response we have, even if there is a certain kind of discussion of the problem of ethnicity, this is going to be counterproductive. Why? Because platform of the discourse is not equal between white and black people. Why is that? Because A, politicians are more likely to be white, and politicians are more likely to have the tendency to protect white people, especially in conservative area. B, media are totally dominated by the rich and powerful white people, Mr. Speaker. C, minorities, like the example of black people, face economic difficulties, and as a result, they are less likely to voice of the opinion to the society as a whole, Mr. Speaker. That's why for three reasons, there is no countervailing discourse from the black people. That is why in the status quo, because of the discussion, we are more likely to discriminate black people. That's why in the first place, this is totally not true. And third response we have, even if this is true, Mr. Speaker, discrimination due to the media itself is extremely unjust. Because, Mr. Speaker, this is a certain kind of harassment to the dignity of the black people. Every day, every moment black people feel that I am the target of the discrimination, Mr. Speaker. This is a certain kind of denial of the dignity. This is a certain kind of denial of the identity. That's why, Mr. Speaker, in the first place, we have to decrease the discrimination due to these kinds of information. That is, Mr. Speaker, for three reasons, this contention cannot be the reason to deny this motion. Moving on to the second issue about the effect, but before that,
in the conservative areas, the people hate black people for religious reasons or other kind of things. That's the incentive for the media to pro-racial broadcasting towards the black people. Under the construction, the broadcasting follows the preference of the people. What is just stopping information will be very beneficial for stopping discrimination.
In the first place, we can decrease in the information about the opportunity to think about the black people are evil, precisely because after the proposal we can decrease the information of the action, of the evil action of black people, Mr. Speaker. That is, there is clear difference between the status quo and the situation after the proposal. Moving on to the second issue about the effect. The idea first coming from the opposition side is that after the proposal we cannot tackle the problem of ethnicity. In the first place, this is not totally true because the government can tackle the problem regardless of race after the proposal. This is philosophically justifiable. Why? Mr. Speaker, let's imagine which is serious, the poverty of white people, the poverty of black people, Mr. Speaker. Of course, we cannot make prioritization because people are people regardless of race, Mr. Speaker. That's why the government has a duty to tackle the problem of poverty regardless of race, Mr. Speaker. So after this proposal, more and more government provide unemployment insurance regardless of race to the white people, to the black people, to the Spanish people, Mr. Speaker. That's why in the first place, this is more likely to to effective to the society as a whole in the first place. Second, that is why, Mr. Speaker, after the proposal, there is no information about race, white, black people, Mr. Speaker. And that's why, Mr. Speaker, we are more likely to think about the citizens as humans, not the race, Mr. Speaker. And as a result, we are more likely to focus on the poverty, and as a result, we can decrease the root cause of the poverty day by day. And that is why, after the proposal, we can decrease the crime rate of all kinds of people, and moreover, we are more likely to change the construction of the children, and children are less likely to construct the identity that black people are. Even that's why, Mr. Speaker, for the black people, for the citizens as a whole, I am very proud to propose.
I thank you, friend. Next call upon Officer Webb.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, ladies and gentlemen of this House today. In order to solve the discrimination, not to hide such information, but we have to show the information of that such ethnicity, ladies and gentlemen. Because we say such information is actually vital to actually to actually show the information for the citizens, but for to actually to investigate, ladies and gentlemen. So for the reason, we are very proud to oppose still, ladies and gentlemen. So today we have two things to compare this round. Firstly, I will talk about the discrimination under the status quo, is it very there or not. Secondly, I will tell you how after taking this proposal, is it rather going to be harm or rather benefit, ladies and gentlemen. So moving on to the first issue about discrimination, ladies and gentlemen. Government side kept on saying that such discrimination under status quo is so harsh because people have assumptions that for the particular race, ladies and gentlemen. We created such and my country clearly pointed out such discrimination is actually for only conservative area and people. And more we say for such conservative area we can actually restrict such people to actually not to discriminate, ladies and gentlemen. More we say not to actually blanketly actually banning such ethnic information is not is very unjustifiable because we say because fundamentally there's vast majority case there's so many moderate people is there, and actually they try to actually improve the situation that are to solve the discrimination such as solving harassment and etc., ladies and gentlemen. So we say in such situation, as my partner pointed out, that such unification is going to occur gradually, ladies and gentlemen. No, thank you. So we say in such situation we cannot actually blanketly banning all such information from the news media to broadcast such situation such information, ladies and gentlemen. So we say that kind of such discrimination is not a problem under the status quo. So moving on to second issue, why to investigate how this information is beneficial practically, ladies and gentlemen. So we say the media. My partner clearly told you that media. This information is very necessary in order to criminal investigation, ladies and gentlemen. Because we tell you such information, such ethnic information is actually is deeply connected to the criminals act, ladies and gentlemen. That is why people have to know about such information of the criminal as much as possible to protect themselves, ladies and gentlemen. No, thank you. Because we tell you that such people, ethnic information, such as this guy is Japanese or Chinese, and etc., is actually there's huge connection between such such as economical situation, etc., ladies and gentlemen. So we say in such situation we have to maximize the information for the citizens
protect themselves, to prevent, not to get harmed, ladies and gentlemen.
In the status quo, moderate people have the potential to discriminate the black people due to the information because they are moderate, Mr. Speaker. If we take this proposal, moderate people are less likely to move on to the discrimination due to the decrease of the information about ethnicity. Don't you think so?
We do not think so, because we say, because after taking this proposal, there's no information to know about the criminal in the first place. Therefore, we say there's no way to actually such action is going to be radical, ladies and gentlemen. So we say the point of information is irrelevant. So no, thank you. So what we thought it's their side said that media is actually exaggerate the things or so forth. Because they actually no thank you. So and so forth. But we say if the media, as my partner Clay told you, if the media broadcast exaggeratedly, we told you that it restricts that, ladies and gentlemen. Because they say if they say the problem is such exaggeration, we can actually restrict them in the first place, and therefore we can solve that such biased view to other people. It can solve, ladies and gentlemen. No, thank you. So we say this proposal is not a unique way to tackle the problem at all, and today this is not unique proposal, ladies and gentlemen. So today yes.
Under your paradigm, when a person commits like a crime due to the mental illness, would you still like to report whether that person is black or white, even that the code is quite clear?
We say that even in such case, we are actually broadcasting such information, right? We say such people as got mental illness, and moreover, we are broadcasting such ethnic information also, ladies and gentlemen. No, thank you. So we say by giving information fully to us people can actually decide a stance to protect their right or no, ladies and gentlemen. So we say in such case, information is necessary, ladies and gentlemen. So what I told you today in this debate, first we told you is that the discrimination is less likely to happen under status quo, precisely because the vast majority cases, as modern people, they are trying to solve the problem of the discrimination under status quo, even under status quo. And secondly, this information is necessary in order to investigate a criminal crime itself, because and so forth. So we say, so for those reasons we are very proud to oppose.